Digidrive is the 6th title in the Bit Generation series, and one of the most complex colour matching puzzle games there is. This review is only for the original Game Boy Advance release, but at the time of this video, a downloadable version is still available for 3DS. On the right side of the screen is your core, which is slowly pursued by a piston. If the piston hits the core, it's game over. To prevent this, you need to usher coloured shapes into 4 intersecting lanes. Matching 5 of the same colour will fill a lane with fuel. The more shapes you add, the more fuel will accumulate. Delivering fuel to the core propels it away from the piston. You must keep doing this for as long as possible, managing more shapes at a faster pace all the time. Organising all 3 colours requires strong focus, as combining them together can have many different results. For example, if a lane is stocking fuel but you mix in a different coloured shape, that fuel will be discarded. Conversely, if a second lane is intaking fuel at the same time, the two will be mixed together in the remaining lane. Filling 3 lanes with fuel, it's possible to multiply your supply into the other lanes by mixing colours together. Repeating this many times highly increases the multiplication. It's repetitive, but if you fill all lanes at once, you'll enter Autobomb. This is a much faster phase, tasking you to rapidly sort shapes for as long as possible, accumulating massive fuel stocks. Incorrectly matching a shape or allowing a lane to empty ends Autobomb. With large amounts of fuel on standby, you can now attempt to create multipliers for incredibly high scores. Last of all, there's the attack shape. These are used to send fuel to the core. Ideally, you'll want to trigger these when reaching peak multiplication. However, you'll often need attack shapes to prevent fuel from expelling, as any stocks you have will expire if the lanes they're filling from aren't topped up frequently. Occasionally, an attack shape will randomly pass by, providing some relief, but as helpful as this can be, an unwanted attack can disrupt your game plan too. If this gameplay description sounds complex, that's purely an indication of how demanding Digidrive can be. Organising your shapes, managing fuel stocks, and keeping an eye on the piston and your core is a lot to take on. The result is sometimes rapid and rewarding, but more so it's repetitive and strangely disengaging. All of this is punctuated by a strong soundtrack, with some blisteringly satisfying sound effects to match. But most time is spent directing shapes just waiting for the right moment to get things going, and it just isn't that fun. Exciting as the Autobomb rushes are, they're in too short supply, with interim periods proving monotonous. Despite my disinterest, there's a lot to keep players rewarded, including unlockable colour palettes and more great music. Digidrive also features Versus mode against the CPU or a second player, which only requires a single cartridge. This mode places the core between 2 pistons. Collecting fuel faster than your opponent will send the core towards their piston. Destroying it will win you the round. Optional items are available too. I'd actually prefer it if these items appeared in the main game as well. They mix up gameplay and relax the intensity a bit. Ultimately, the multiplayer is a good addition, but best enjoyed by players of a similar skill level. I don't want to be too down on Digidrive, but it's definitely lacking refinement. A design this obtuse needs to be more exciting to get away with it. I've had satisfying moments in the faster difficulty levels, and unlocking loads of stuff in games is always fun. Luckily, Digidrive is one of the cheaper bit generations, especially given the single cart multiplayer. It's not too much of a gamble if you want to form your own opinion. Keep the DSware version in mind as well. It's occasionally fun, a little frustrating, but ultimately just some kind of bland chaos, more like the perfect plate spinning simulator than a must-have puzzle game.